I was just listening to Mbop by Hanson and now it is stuck in my head. So, hey everyone, it's Ashley and today I am bringing you my June wrap-up. So here are all of the books and graphic novels and other things that I read this month. Okay, so first of all we have P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han. This is the sequel to All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. I really liked this. It's a duology, so the series is now over. I thought it was just a really fun, cute, contemporary kind of summery series. If you haven't tried it and you're looking for something like that, I would highly recommend it. I read both books in a single day. So I read To All the Boys I Loved Before last year in one night, and then I read this year in one day, and both of them were so good and just compulsively readable. My favorite part about these is that Jenny Han is so good at giving you all of these male characters, so like, or love interest characters rather, just in general love interest characters, and she makes you love them all. Like, she's like, oh, here's a whole bunch of love interest characters for you, and I'm going to make you love all of them. And I don't think I've read another author that does that so effortlessly. So in terms of love triangles or love squares or things where you're not sure who you like for the main character to end up with, this series would be good. Then I read Just One Night by Gail Foreman. I read it as an ebook on my phone, so I don't actually have a physical copy for you guys, but it is the novella companion to Just One Day and Just One Year by Gail Foreman. I finished Just One Year in May, so I really wanted to get to Just One Night like right away while I was still really invested in Allison and Willem's story. So because that's just a novella companion, it was a very short novel, so I actually read it in one night and I really loved it, and then I was just in a mood for all the contemporary books, and I just really wanted some more like cute summer kind of love kind of stories. So I dived into The Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. I read book 1, The Summer I Turned Pretty, book 2, It's Not Summer Without You, and book 3, We'll Always Have Summer. I read all 3 of them back to back. I think it took me about a week to finish all of them, but I really liked this series. I know that some people are not huge fans of this series, whereas other people absolutely loved this series. I mean, it's not a series that you're going to go into and be like, please change my life, change my viewpoint on things, please be like dramatically, drastically, life-alteringly crazy. That's not what this series is, and I feel like sometimes, like, I really should do a video on how I judge books for you guys so you guys can like really understand like how I rate books and why. But like, I go into a book series like this expecting it to be a cute summer contemporary series that is just compulsively readable and cute. So it really delivered on all of those ends. I loved the writing, I loved the characters, I thought the plot was really cute. I do understand why people didn't love the third book, but I did end up really liking it. It just took me a very long time to be like, why are you doing this, Jenny Han? But then I understood and it was fine. But if you're looking for a cute series that you can finish really quickly where I think you're gonna like most of the characters, this one, try this one. Continuing on with my kind of contemporary romance kick, I ended up reading Confess by Colleen Hoover. This is another one where like I don't go into it expecting it to be life-alteringly crazy. That's not what Colleen Hoover books are for me. They are just really quick, compulsive reads, and sometimes I really want that. So that's what I went into this wanting, and I came out of it pretty happy. I really liked it. It's not my favorite Colleen Hoover novel, but it's definitely not my least favorite Colleen Hoover novel. So yeah, I really liked it. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. For what it was really good. It just wasn't like great, but I'm definitely going to continue reading like all the Colleen Hoover novels because I do read them so quickly and I really like reading them. Like, I enjoy myself as I'm reading them, and I think that that's like the most important part of reading, really, right? So, I mean, it's not the most epically well written or the most epically well plotted, but it's really cute, and I really liked the story that these guys go through, and yeah, also dual narration. You guys know how much I love dual narration. Colleen Hoover is pretty much like the queen of always doing dual narration or doing 2 separate novels with different narrations. Yes. Then I finally picked up Magonia by Maria Devana Headley. I really liked this. Looking back, I originally gave it a 4.5 out of 5, but looking back and analyzing it, I actually think it's only a 4 out of 5. That's still a pretty high rating, but there was some things that I didn't necessarily love about it, but I did really like the setting and the plot and all of that. I just really was not a fan of some of the choices the characters made, if that makes sense. So yes, if you're looking for like a really good sci-fi twisted novel with a little bit of romance, you can check this out. There is also a tiny bit of dual narration in this, which I didn't know going into it, so that was kind of like a surprise for me. That was like a really, really nice surprise. But the main character I really liked at first, and then it just seemed like she just wasn't making the most intelligent decisions, in my opinion. She wasn't asking intelligent questions, and it was making me mad. The whole time I was reading it, I was like, oh my god, if this was me, I would be asking this question, and if this was me, I'd be saying like, go screw yourself, I will not do that. So yes, stuff like that made me a little angry. Other than that, I did really like the writing style, like the tone that the author used I really liked, and it's very like Stardust meets Peter Pan meets Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. So like it is really good. I have high hopes for the rest of the series. Also, I didn't know that this was a series going into it, but about 80 pages from the end I knew it was going to be a series because we were nowhere near any kind of answers. But if you're looking for something like that, I would recommend trying it because it was definitely something worth reading. And next I read Kissing in America by Margot RAB. This book, okay, so I have things to say about this, so I'm gonna put the book down so that I can actually like focus on what I'm saying to you guys. I picked this up simply on a cover buy. The description made it seem like a cute contemporary. You guys know me, I'm all about the cute contemporaries, and I loved the cover, so I was like, yes, this is an instant buy for me. I want this in hardcover. It's beautiful. And then I started reading it, and I liked it at first, and I liked the struggle the main character was going through. And I mean, I thought I was gonna like all the characters, but then I felt throughout the novel that the characters kind of fell a little flat for me. I'm not saying they'd fall flat for everyone. The novel itself wasn't bad. I liked the premise of, you know, going on this road trip to figure out who you are and to realize that maybe boys aren't the end of the world and they don't matter so much, and like, you know, like I liked that premise, but I wanted more best friendship connections, and there were a few, but there weren't enough for me. Like, I thought there was going to be more, and in the end, I just, like, the main character didn't make the greatest decisions, and I felt the end was a bit rushed. The end did actually end up making the book better for me. Like, before the last 80 pages of this, I was gonna give this book like a 2.5 or 3 out of 5. And now it's like a 3.5 out of 5, which I'm happy with because I did really like the writing. Like, I would pick something else up by Margot RAB because I liked the tone of the novel. I just feel like maybe the plot and the characters weren't properly like, they just weren't properly made or developed. So I did like it. It just wasn't, you know, the greatest, and I think it also has to do with the fact that I read a lot of really, really good cute contemporaries at the beginning of the month, and this one kind of just fell flat. Okay, so I actually only finished the equivalent of 2 graphic novels this month, which is kind of small for me. I normally read a lot more than that, but the first one was iZombie Volume 4, Repossession. This series was so good. It's so good. If you're debating reading this series, please do it. I adored this. Also, this is the 4th and final volume, whoa, words, but there is an ending. It doesn't end on like a cliffhanger or anything. It has a real solid ending. As I read the 4th one, I could kind of tell that the authors thought they'd have more time, like that they thought they'd be able to make more comics and they'd have a longer run, or, you know, I felt like it was a bit rushed, but it didn't feel too rushed. Like, I wasn't like upset at the rushedness. This still got like a 5 out of 5 for me. 4.5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. It was really, really good. It took a turn that I wasn't expecting it to take, and it just, yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. If you're debating it, I'd highly recommend it. So before I tell you guys about the next graphic novel I finished this month, I should also explain to you that since I've been buying and reading a lot of single-issued comics, I'm not going to, Goodreads does actually have the single issues on Goodreads to say, I've read that, but they count it as a whole book for your like 50 book pledge, and if that was true, was true, then I would read way more than 50 books, and it also wouldn't actually like track how many books I've read this year, and I really want to track how many books / graphics I've read this year because I like to do that. I just like to know those things. So instead of writing when I read each single issue, I'm just going to, like when I read the final issue that will eventually be in the collection, I'm just going to say that I read the collection that month. So that is the case for my next graphic novel that I read this month. Graphic novel, which is actually just 6 single issues of Witches by Scott Snyder and Jock. You guys have heard me talk about this before. I've been reading it for the past 6 months. It is amazing. The collected graphic novel is out now. I will leave a link to some place, the book depository, I guess, where you can purchase that, and also the Goodreads page for that. If you are a person who likes amazing artwork, like this is some of the best artwork I have seen in a graphic novel, like ever. It's some of my favorite of all time. It's so good. If you're looking for kind of like a creepy, thrillery, well-plotted novel that is kind of terrifying, but not like too terrifying, then I would try this. So yes, I read all of the issues. Here, actually, maybe I'll show you some of the art. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm just gonna show the first page. But if you look, it's like they did the regular artwork and then like splashed paint all over it on top of the artwork. I don't know how else to explain it other than that. It looks like it was drawn and then like paint was splattered all over it. But the paint makes sense, like the paint splatter, anyways, it's just so good, guys. Okay, so that plus Just One Night by Gail Foreman is my June wrap-up, all the things that I read in the month of June. What did you guys read in June? Always let me know in the comments down below. And otherwise, I will see you guys soon with another video. Happy reading. Bye!